name's Jim Krackwick. My practice is called Five Rhythms Movement Psychotherapy. My credentials are a master's degree in education counseling at the University of Victoria. Previous to that, a BA degree in psychology. Work with individuals, couples, and small group workshops. The people that are attracted to this type of work and being part of the community here at Euro Studios are again, like me, people who feel that there's got to be more than just living in my head. There's got to be more than just all the craziness and insanity of all the modern world living. That there's got to be a sanctuary, an oasis where I can come to, if it's at least for an hour or a few hours in a workshop or a dance class, that they can reconnect to reality. I started counseling at a very young age, at the age of 19. I first started working in a youth alcohol and drug treatment facility for young offenders back in Ontario. Working in some quite intense work environments where there was a lot of abuse, violence, suicide attempts and completions. In my quest for wanting to help people and serve people through the traditional means, I found out that that wasn't a sustainable way, not only for them, but also for me as a practitioner. But because of that strong work ethic and that strong desire to want to help people, I sort of numbed that out and kept giving and giving and giving until I sort of hit a wall and burnt out. And that was a pretty significant moment a few years ago where I actually walked away from the idea of ever doing therapy again. The moment I gave up the traditional career in counseling and psychotherapy, things really opened up naturally for me. I was able to take over this amazing dance studio, Euro Studios. I again started teaching Wing Chun Kung Fu, which has been a passion of mine for almost 20 years, again in the studio. And encouraging a community of yoga instructors, of other Five Rhythms dance classes and workshops, a whole variety of artists, creative people. I discovered Andrea Juhan, the teacher for the Five Rhythms movement therapy. So a year after I sort of let go of the idea of ever being a therapist again, I found myself in San Francisco being accepted into Andrea's training. And the difference this time was I felt my way through that whole training process moment by moment to see if, can I do this? Am I resourced enough? Am I healthy enough? Does this feel good? It's an integrated practice that involves body movements, the emotional field, as well as sort of the cognitive awareness piece of traditional counseling and psychotherapy. The integrated process allows the person to fully embody and feel that experience while they may be talking about it. What the movement piece can help people do is experience their processing on a deeper level. So that as we are talking about or exploring a certain issue with somebody, we may involve getting them to track internal sensation, noticing where in the body that they feel it, maybe the intensity of it, maybe the texture of it, and noticing how it moves in their body, maybe in certain patterns, almost mapping it out. When we're moving and feeling and processing the information, the change is actually happening on a deeper level, more sustainable level, so people can actually move through and have deeper experiences. There's a whole range of possibilities of what a client can experience through the movement psychotherapy. On one end of the spectrum, we might end up starting in the office, starting to discuss a little bit about what they've come here to talk about or to process. Maybe just do some internal body awareness, some sensory sort of body scans, focus on breathing, basically bringing and shifting their consciousness away from the cognitive mind into the felt body. Sometimes that can take a whole session. The other end of the spectrum may involve us actually moving with different patterns of music out on the dance floor, possibly with some music to help evoke some of the emotional feelings or to help them sort of tap into certain rhythms of movements. And there's all kinds of possibilities in between. What we're trying to avoid is for them to slip into old habits. So if we slow that process down, bring some mindfulness to it, we can actually catch that moment where a person is maybe losing their ground beneath their feet, their internal resourcing, and help them to move in ways or feel in ways, or even think in ways that are more sustainable, more healthy. Oftentimes, when couples do come for counseling, there's usually some issue of conflict. A lot of the conflict gets caught up in a person's stories, their beliefs, and their expectations about, what the other partner did or said, or what they didn't do or say. They can move to a healthier pattern of moving with their partner, maybe finding the right distance that they need to be in the moment, the right speed limit, how close they want to actually get and interact with them. And that can be sort of the pattern or the mold that they can take outside of the studio and work on the relationship. So ultimately what they're really looking for is a felt sense of their solution or moving out of the conflict instead of just another idea with scripted things that they're supposed to do or say to each other. Small workshops are an opportunity for people to move with an issue that they want to explore in a larger field, a larger interconnected field of relationships. The people who are questioning, they're seekers, they're finding some things in life that just aren't quite making sense. And they know that their body and their movement and their heart and passion needs to be part of it. And maybe they just don't quite know how to access it yet, but they feel some part of their body that's telling them, some part of their heart that's telling them. So I mean, there can be different ages, different genders, different body types, but the one thing they have in common is this deeper seeking, this wanting to have a more felt and full experience, not just in the moment of a dance class or a session, but actually in life. Learning how to connect with people, build relationship, build community, find the support and resources that are available to us all if we open ourselves up to that experience. That's really the ground underneath the theory of this practice, is connecting to those deeper truths, the yes or the no's, as opposed to all the gray areas. It really can be that simple.